welcome to the beginning of week 2 of Orillium. So we have quite a few things to get through today, which one of is basically finishing up my last book for the alchemy, like side quest thingamabob, whatever you want to call it. I'm working on My Dark Vanessa for that by Kate Elizabeth Russell. I am over 100 pages into it right now, and I actually, despite how like dark and gritty and disturbing this book is, I really like it, and I like it because it is dark and gritty and disturbing. I think that I was thinking that this was going to be much harder for me to read, but when I had first read Nightcrawling by Layla Motley, I thought the same thing, and I ended up really loving it, which they kind of have a very similar idea going on, where it's based on a woman who actually was abused by the a police department. I want to say it's San Diego, I can't quite remember, but was trafficked by a lot of the police force in her area, and it made the news. It was like a huge thing here, like in 2018, I think, something like that. Well, My Dark Vanessa is not necessarily based on anything specific, according to the author, but it does talk a lot about how in the realm of the 2017-2018 year, there was a lot of information going around and things being spread about, you know, people in power that were taking advantage of young women, like in terms of like the Me Too movement really becoming a thing. And this book is basically split between two different timelines, where you have the more present timeline being where the main character is a woman in her 30s, and there's a man that she was involved with when she was younger that is being accused of essentially like statutory rape and assault of one of his former students, and she came out about it, and now he's under fire for all of that. And it's then split between that and her past, when she's 15 years old and starts her own relationship with this teacher, and was supposedly like his first relationship with one of his students. And so there's a lot that goes on in the story where the main character is having to really figure out, was what she experienced with this teacher something that was fully consensual, or was it something where he took advantage of her? Which, if you're a 15-year-old girl getting involved with your teacher, I don't care how much you think that you love them, if they are taking your advances, that is not right. That is grooming at its most basic level. And I think this story really just paints the picture of how very easy it can be for young girls to be groomed, especially when they have, already low self-esteem, when they already feel like that they don't belong, and they find somebody that, like this teacher, who gives them the attention that they're looking for, and essentially like uses that to their advantage. And so it is very dark and gritty and disturbing by all means. Like, there was a scene I just read that it literally made my stomach turn. I felt like I was going to vomit, but because I knew that that was what was going to be happening going into this book, I appreciate that that is the case, because obviously the author is creating a story that is so very real for so many people that it has to be that dark and that gritty and that stomach turning content. And I think that she's doing a fantastic job with creating that story. Now, I feel personally that there's not really a need for a second perspective, or essentially what could have happened is like we spend less time in the past, and the more of the things that happen is in the present. I feel like that, at least for right now where I am, the first 100 pages, we've spent a lot of time in the past, which has been building on the relationship between her and the teacher. So I don't know if we're going to spend more of the time in the book at this point in the more present timeline, but it's very heavy right now on the time when she was 15 in school and developing this relationship with this teacher, and some of the inklings that you hear about whether or not she thinks she should be doing this and whether or not she's comfortable with this. And it's very much, at first she was for it. She was falling for this guy, and then as things start to get more intense, it's becoming a lot scarier, and basically having to say, oh no, this is normal, this is grown up, this is what grown-ups do, all this, that, and the other, and it's just, it's heartbreaking. It really is. I really hope that if I ever have a daughter, I can teach her that she doesn't have to do that. She doesn't have to be involved with somebody to that degree, and that she's loved to where that doesn't end up happening and she doesn't get hurt. Because I think that there's something to be said about, as an adult, when you have more of an age gap romance, right, that there's a point where it's more appropriate. But a 15-year-old girl with her teacher does not sound right. It is disgusting. It is an abuse of power. And I think that that is like the biggest thing, other than obviously the age gap between the two of them and the fact that she's a minor. There is the power imbalance that there is within that, and that's not fair to her. That is not safe for her. And I hope that if I ever have a daughter, I can help her to recognize, like, when she gets involved with somebody that is older than her, she should really look at what is the relationship there, what are all the factors involved in this relationship, and whether it is love, or if it's just infatuation, or if it is some form of grooming and gaslighting that is going on in the relationship. So I don't know, just this really makes me think a lot about a lot of different things, but mostly the fact that this author is really hitting the notes that I was wanting to hit with this kind of a book. So yeah, so far pretty good. But like I said, this is my last book for the alchemy like area, the alchemy like side quest from last semester. So once that's done, then other books I'll be reading will be more so for the classes I'm taking and this semester's like side quest things, which is good. But I wanted to read this one anyway. This is also on my self-destruct TBR for this year. So I'll already have another self-destruct TBR book down. And I definitely think that with how it is right now, I will be holding on to this, because even though it is dark and gritty and disturbing, it is really well done, and I would really like to hold on to this for a little bit, just because of the fact that it is so real and raw, and it is so important to have stories like this on my shelf to me. So as it is now, it's staying put, but we'll see kind of how that continues over more time. But I'm gonna go right now and get some other stuff done. I have therapy in less than an hour, so I have some things I need to do before that, and we'll check in when I have finished my Dark Vanessa. Well, initially my plan was to stay at Barnes & Noble for a little bit longer to do some work and stuff, but two things happened. First of all, internet is for crap at that Barnes & Noble. I don't know what was going on, but it was really bad. Second of all, my husband called me and said he had to go back to work tonight, so that means I had to come back home to watch the dogs. But before I left Barnes & Noble, I did manage to grab a couple quick things while I was there that I was wanting to get. First of which is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is book 2 in the Red Rising series. Really liked Red Rising a lot and have been wanting to get back into the series, so this is going to kind of go on my more priority TBR, I think, if I have a priority TBR at all to call it. And then the second book, which I probably won't get to for a while, but I just wanted it because it's one of his newer releases, is Brandon Sanderson's The Frugal Wizard's Handbook of Surviving Medieval England, or For Surviving Medieval England. I've heard this is really good, and definitely not what a lot of people have expected it, because for one, it's a lot shorter than a lot of people were expecting it to be, and it's very, very quick to fly through. So don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I just wanted it because it's Brandon Sanderson, and y'all know I love my Brandon Sanderson ever since doing the Cosmere read along with Bree and Brandy. So anyway, got those two real quick. I ended up also getting a free tote because I guess collected enough stamps or something, I don't know, but I got the black and kind of burnished gold one, which I just found to be very, very cute. So I got that for free, which was awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to basically just focus on what I was doing before I left Barnes & Noble, and I think I might do some like on my own sprints to like get me through the rest of the evening and just kind of hang out with the dogs. Well, I don't know where exactly I last left you, but I've had a lot of reading going on this week. I just haven't really been able to talk about it much, but I did, I feel like the last thing I left you off on was I was still in the middle of my Dark Vanessa. Finished that, have completed the alchemy quest thing, also completed Hell on Earth, which got me my first level for something. I can't quite remember. It was my elemental studies. First level of elemental studies is completed. This class is going to be more difficult for Kaylin. It's going to take a little bit longer to complete this class, mostly because there's been a lot of things going on. Namely the quest that she was on. So basically I did complete Hell on Earth. I also though have completed the second level of that, which was letter Q, for a book with over 500 pages, which was reading The Stardust Thief. And I am now working on Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron, which is the final level for elemental studies that Kaylin needs to complete. So I haven't really started it much. I have got through the prologue, and I'm kind of hoping I'll get the audiobook here soon through Libby, because I'm like next in line to get it. So I'm hoping I will be able to get it soon, but at the very least I've read the prologue so far, and it sounds really good. So kind of interested in that, but I'm really behind. Well, I'm not really behind, but I am a little bit behind on my reading schedule for the month, which is fine. I'm supposed to finish Kingdom of Souls today, but I don't know if I'm going to have time because I have other work things I need to do today. But yeah, so it is what it is. Anyway, that's kind of been the energy of this past week, if you guys can't tell. I've been not struggling per se, but I have not been, I don't know, the best when it comes to updating the vlogs. I've been really consistent with other things. Just my vlogs, not so much, which it's par for the course, truthfully. So anyway, today I'm going to end this vlog. I'm going to get started with the next one here later today. And my hope is to get through Kingdom of Souls next week, as well as a few other books. Hopefully The Love Hypothesis, How Long Till Black Future Month, which will have its own separate vlog because it's part of my N.K. Jemisin read-along, Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler, and what else? Oh, and Song of Silver, Flame Like Night, which are all for Orillium, which is awesome. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already and you'd like to be and would like to see more content like this, go ahead and hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!